1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Let's go.
Top 5. Top 5. Top 5. Top 5.
Super excited to have this guest here. Singer, songwriter, producer. I'm going to call him nephew. It was crazy because I had to track his number down. And when he called me, I had his number in my phone. So we're going to have to get to the bottom of that, man.
Yeah,
but
100%.
welcome my brother Ism
Appreciate
Beats
you, sir.
to the
Yes,
show.
sir.
What up, man?
Not much, bro. Same old thing, cooking up. Happy to be here, bro. Very, very grateful for the opportunity. We got a 919 legend sitting right across from me, so
Appreciate that,
Got to
man.
be some big things in the work because the stars are aligning.
I've been doing it for a long time, man. I appreciate that. Let's just start from the top. Where did you get the name Ism Beats? Like, where that name come from?
So Ism is just my initials. Ishmael Sadiq Montague.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking about different ways. His family always called me Ish. So I'm like, Ish Beats? Nah.
Mm-hmm.
What can we use? You know what I mean? Ishmael Beats? Nah, that's not going to work. Try to go all over the place. Rocket Beat? Nah, it's not working, bro. So I just use my initials. Ism. Okay. And then, that gave way to like, we work with an artist. We can do executive produced projects and name it, the artist name Ism. Like, to create a message behind the project. So like I work with Big Flock up in DC, Glockism, Moolahism with Maddie Baby up in Chicago. Those were like my first two executive produced projects, and then I dropped my own project when I was like 15, 16, Instrumentalism. So now we just been really, we doing Glockism 2, Moolahism 2, really kick things back off. But the idea of ism, which is just like the study of things or the idea of things, you know what I'm saying? We kind of ran with that.
Got some meaning behind that, bro.
100%.
Yeah, I love
100%.
it. How long you been producing?
So I've been producing, you know what? I've been making beats since I was 14. I've been producing since I was probably 20, I say.
Okay, so let's start right there. So you just separated the two. Now,
I did.
most of the world, it's the same thing.
I did.
What's the difference between making beats and producing?
So you can be a producer who just makes beats. But when it comes to the full job of a producer, the responsibility of a real producer, there's so much more involved. There's so much more that you got to understand versus just sitting down keying in some kicks and some claps, because you're kind of taking away from yourself if you think as a beat maker that's all you can do as a producer. You know what I'm saying? Take it from a chef. You know what I'm saying? If all you can, you still can cook if all you can make is egos.
Right.
That don't make you a chef. A chef know
right.
what sauce to put where, what to use with this and that. You know what I'm saying? A producer knows what two people to put in the room. The producer knows, okay, is this song in key or not? You got some beat makers, and because they're young, because I was that. Some beat makers, I'm referring to myself. You got some beat makers who sit in the room and say, hey, play. All right, cool. And then what? You got so much more to do. The writer in the booth might not know where to go. Can you offer creative direction to get the record, to produce a record? So beat makers these days, I think they're beat producers, they're instrumental producers. But people not really listening to instrumentals on the radio, for the most part.
Right.
How do you push yourself as a producer who was once that beat maker that thought that was all the job is? I challenge you as a fellow producer or aspiring producer to figure out how you can expand your knowledge base and become 100%er. Learn how to engineer yourself. Learn how to engineer other artists. Learn about compression and EQ and what vocals go with. You know what I'm saying? Learn how to be a producer. Produce the content.
So give me an example of like a person that's historically just a beat maker and somebody that's a producer. Like, who come to mind when you think of like a dope beat maker and that was just their lane? Like
me, sorry, nah. When it comes to somebody like Lex Luger,
okay,
and the interesting part about him is a lot of people would say, okay, my beat makers and producers know about that YouTube video, the bedroom beats.
Right.
Like we know about that one. So a lot of people would say, oh, he just make the beats, but you don't understand. He had a collective of artists that he helped craft their sound. So he was producing their sound. When you heard a certain artist, you didn't really know who the producer was if you didn't know about producers. But at the end of the day, Lex's legacy lived on in the sound, similar to like Metro. I'm saying Metro was making beats. I'm sure he hired engineers to, you know,
Metro Boomin.
Metro Boomin, yeah. And he actually judged me in my first beat battle at SCMC. Cash Johns was hosting it. From Winter Circle, Go Grizz was on the panel. Malik Baker was at Rock Nation. He was on the panel. Amber Ground was on the panel. Metro and Go Grizz. And at the time, he had just produced Karate Chop. So I'm learning about production and whatnot. But he had that Q record, OG Bobby Johnson. You know what I'm saying? He had Karate Chop. With Future, he gonna write his own stuff, but at the end of the day, he knows his circle of artists to work with. Same with Sunny Digital. So while they were just primarily making beats, you know what I'm saying, they still had creative direction as far as crafting the artist's sound. So you got people on, I get emails all the time, man, like 10 beats for $30. Like, and I know they just in the room.
Right.
I'm a producer, you know what I'm saying? But as far as actually building relationships, producers build relationships and curate relationships, curate sounds.
So when I say producer, who the first, other than yourself, who come to mind? Like just maybe somebody you grew up listening, like when, producer. Who would be that producer to you?
I didn't grow up listening to him, but Quincy Jones would have to be one.
Yeah, okay.
Clarence Avant would have to be one. Just, I don't know what songs they've done, but just as far as the impact, you listen to artists and the other producers talk about them, and it's like the impact that he had on my sound, and you go back and listen, it's like, oh, he was putting this person in this room. This record wouldn't have been produced without that. You know what I'm saying? This wouldn't have come into fruition without that. But these days, if you look at like Max Martin, bro got so many songs, it's impossible for him to be writing and making all them beats.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But he has a vision and he has a sound. You know what I'm saying? Like Swedish House Mafia. You know what I mean? Like you look at Diplo and Skrillex, they got a producer duo.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm showing some of them records. One of them made the production, the other one did this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Stargate, you know, Q Beats. You look at them.
But you can produce the music and never touch the writing part of it, right?
Absolutely.
But you can also write, produce, and do the beat.
You can do everything. It's so many, and that's why I was challenging the young producers. That's what I call them, because I don't want to undermine them and say you just a beat maker, but encourage the young producers to expand their palette and understand that there's a whole world of opportunity for you within the production realm versus just saying, like, I tell my bros all the time, yo, pick up a mic, start songwriting. Write your song. The first 50 are going to be trash. Keep going. I mean, that's what's going to make you a strong producer. Learn how to engineer yourself. Become self-sufficient. When you can walk into a room like this and leave the room with a record, you're a producer.
Right. Man, you're 25?
25.
Man, a lot of maturity out of 25-year-old. Like, you understand it from an angle that I wouldn't expect for you to be so young.
Thank you.
So let's start from the record that I want to tell your story through. For folks who may not know that they know who you are. And that's that Party ChrisBrown record.
Sir.
I don't know. How did that record come together, bro?
right.
And I got a funny story I want to tell you about that record, too. So.
Okay, for sure. So, man, I'll start from the very beginning. So, I want to say 15. I'm still living in Raleigh. I'm in high school. You know what I'm saying? I used to search on Twitter. This is back when you could go on Twitter and a tweet had 1,000 retweets. And it's viral. Like, that's a huge tweet. Somebody got 10,000 followers on Twitter, they're untouchable. Like, that's a superstar. So I typed Ism Beats in the search bar because that's how I found all my artists to work with. That's how I found Thrax, Liz with Thrax, Flock. You know what I'm saying? All of those guys, Maddie Baby up in Chicago where we had the Chief Keef record. That's how that came up. So I'm searching Ism Beats, looking for opportunity, using social media, trying to get new connections, DMing, mentioning whoever I can. I see Sean Barron from Atlantic Records. He's like, Ism Beats, send your 2 best records to this. So I'm like, all right, bet. I start sending beats. A year go by, I don't hear nothing. I'm like, man, I don't know what's going on. I'm about to give up. One random Saturday, I'm upstairs, just finished my.
And you were 16 at this
16,
point?
yeah.
Okay.
So I was 15. No, I was 14, and then I turned 15. Found his email,
Gotcha.
And then started sending.
And you at Enloe at that
I'm
time?
at Enloe at this
Enloe
time.
High School.
Yeah, so I already had the Chief Keef record. You know what I'm saying? I had the Big Flock executive produced projects, Maddie, everything. And really just building.
So Party
my
wasn't your
network.
first record. So you had actually, let's get it straight. You had
Yeah.
actually had a record on Chief Keef's project.
Oh, well, I had a record with Maddie Baby that Chief released. Well, it leaked You know what I'm saying? Meal Ticket was the host for it. And the record just happened to come out. But it went crazy. It's like, people really, it was around Bang 3 Chief, so it was active. I didn't see it back then, but now looking back on it, I'm like, that was an impactful record. But so I'm going through the email. I was like, man, I don't know what's going on. So I said, I ain't sending him no more beats, man. They just got a dummy email up. I sent 2 last ones. I said, these are last beats I'm gonna send to him. I sent them. One of the beats was the beat for Hope You Do by ChrisBrown.
Okay.
So I'm like, I get a call from his partner, like his manager, his like day-to-day assistant type guy, Gary Leon in Atlantic. He's like, yo, when can you come to LA?
So you just chilling, somebody call you, and he said, yo, I'm Gary from Atlantic.
He responded to the email.
Okay,
yo, these are dope. When can you get on the call?
Okay.
So it's from Sean's email, though.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get an email from another A&R. Under the thread, I'm like, well, I ain't saying to these niggas. Yo, when can you come to LA? Gary called me. I was like, what's today? It's the end of beginning of December. My first trip out there was December 15th through like the 21st. I said, I can be out there next week. All right, cool. We got a crib for your stay at. I'm like, all right, bet. Went out there for that week. First night in the studio with PJ, Ty Dolla $ign, getting the record done. So I was like, okay, these guys, they know what they're doing.
So when you submitted those records, it wasn't for a particular artist. You were just submitting beats.
I was just sending beats.
Gotcha.
So when I went back home, I'm like, yo, that was crazy. I'm blown away. I said, I got to figure out a way to get back out there. Ping, email come up. Yo, we want to sign you. I said, all right, cool. I don't know nothing about nothing. I'm like, look, I'm going to make this work. So signed my first pub deal for $5,000. Moved out there, met great people. You know what I'm saying? It was couch surfing with the homies. You know what I'm saying? Just figuring it out. Just hustling. Going to the studio. If you know $5,000 in 2016, 2017 in Los Angeles gets you nowhere. So I'm eating McDonald's, small fried double cheeseburger every night. I thought I had some money. I started going to Fat Burger. You know, if you know about Cali, you know about Fat Burger. I started going to Fat Burger, like, yeah, now we coming up in the world. Like, this is good. I get a fat fry, a medium burger. I was like, okay, everything's working out.
I got to do one on Sunset, I think I used to.
Yeah, right. So I was at the one in North Hollywood off of Burbank Boulevard.
Okay.
So I'm like, man, this is dope. I'm out there. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And then I get another call from Gary again, like, yo, I want to introduce you to somebody. So I said, all right, cool. He said, his name's A1. You know what I'm saying? He a dope writer, producer, you know what I'm saying, he rocking with your sound. I'm like, all right, cool. I didn't know nothing about nothing at this time. So I'm like, all right, that's a bet. So A1 get on the phone, yo, let's work. I'm rocking with your sound. Mind you, I'm still in high school, so it's like, I'm up at 3 in the morning, because it's midnight in LA. You know what I mean? So they just getting to work. I got school at 5:45. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm doing a remix for Faded to Sade. See, my parents right across the hall. I'm blasting out. I gotta test these mixes. He telling me to play it loud. I gotta make sure the synths match up with the 808s. So I finally nailed that one with Lyrica Anderson and ChrisBrown. That was one of my first records. But I had Hope You Do already. I didn't even know it.
Right.
So he called me after I nailed that. He was like, yo, you got we're gonna go ahead and do the paperwork because you got one of Chris records on the album. This was way earlier.
Right.
A year went by before that record dropped. So at 6 months, 7 months.
So they had
passed,
already selected that, and then you didn't you wasn't in the loop yet. You didn't know.
Not really. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm still just trying to grind. I got math homework.
Right.
I'm like, okay, what's going on? So I don't know how the business works. None of that. So I'm like, all right, cool. Just grateful for the opportunity. Remember that. Don't be a stickler. Just go with the flow. You know what I'm saying? So remix comes out. I know I got Hope You Do. I produced a couple joints on his mixtape. The Nights in the Trap with his OHB guys. I did Acting Like This. I think Faded Sade was up there. And one other record that was up there, right? So I'm living in LA now. I'm saying fast forward, I graduate. I'm still working with my guys and we getting records in. And I'm living in Cali and I'm staying with Gary at the crib in Encino. And every day I'm like, bro, this house too nice in the hills, Encino Hills, Lake Encino. If you know about it, you know about it.
Yeah, I know about it.
Lake Encino Drive, we was up there every day. And it's like, yo, this is crazy. I ain't never seen palm trees in my life before. So I'm motivated. I'm like, yo, okay, I got to be able to have this for myself. I'm couch surfing at the homie crib right now. That's not cool. But So I'm waking up every morning. I made myself do 7 beats a day. And I go to the studio and play the beats. So I made my 7 beats. Every day, boom, boom. So we picking up records with Jeremiah, Kid Ink, stuff is just flowing. Every night is somebody at studio. And since I'm Uber to the studio, I'm the only beat maker in there. I was a beat maker at the time. I didn't know nothing about
That's what I was gonna ask you.
How it flows. I'm in the back of the room like this. I remember the night we actually did party, right? So I'm getting to it. Night we did party, I'm sitting in the back of the room, my headphones, I'm looking around, it's just the creatives in the room. A1, Hitmaker, Jay Grand is in there, Krishan, you know what I'm saying? We all in the room. Look, artists might pop through every now and again. We at Paramount Room C. I got my headphones and I don't care what's going around. I remember one time I was so burnt out, so tired, working. I got my headphones on the computer. I look up, it's a room full of people. I'm saying like, yo, like, I'm 19, supermodels, like, bottles everywhere. I'm like, yo, what happened? I wanted to get up and be like, so, you know what I'm saying? Nah, headphones on.
You focused.
Focus.
You zoned in.
So, I'm like, I got a responsibility. I'm not here to do this because these guys is millionaires already. You know what I'm saying? I'm still living off my 5,000.
So it's artists in there, record label folk.
Nelly would pull up every now and again. Vin Diesel. Out of all people, I was shocked when I seen them. But it's just all types of people come through the studio, just show love, show support. I'm saying I don't got no bad stories, ain't nobody weird, nothing like that. T-Pain is hilarious, by the way. I met, bro, we was talking about what's that cartoon? Steven Universe, I think it was. I was like, bro, this dude cool as hell.
Right.
Like, yeah. So so it's a bunch of vibes like that. So I'm making the beats, and one day I play. I'm running through the 7 beats today that I make. Play the first one and go to the next one. Play the second one, go to I'm like, damn. Go to the next. So we go through a day like that. So the next day I'm like, bro, now I gotta do right this time. You know what I'm saying?
So the creative people's listening, trying to judge.
The writers, like, you know what I'm saying, the writers and producers, like, that's cool, put it out to the side, we'll do something with it later. We ain't rocking with that right now. I'm like, all right, cool, go back to the crib that night. Next day, same routine. I don't care. I'm gonna play 1,000 beats. Y'all gonna choose one of them gonna work. You know what I'm saying? So go back to the crib, making beats. And this particular day, like I said, I'm still off that 5K. So I'm like, man, okay, let me go to the studio. I'm Ubering, you know what I'm saying? You in the studio, so ain't nobody cooking. We ain't blessed with the chef, you know what I'm saying? So I'm ordering Fat Burger and McDonald's. After a while, them delivery fees go stupid, especially in Cali. Like, Ubers go crazy. This is when they first started the price surges. So typically that Uber from Lake Encino Drive to Hollywood Boulevard would be just $20, $25. This particular night, for whatever reason, like $70, $80.
Yeah, they be raising it when they want to.
Yeah, I'm like, that's not right. Click, swipe up, refresh. $95. I was like, oh, okay, nah, I'm just not gonna go. So I'm like, nah, I ain't gonna go. I'm gonna just sit here and cook up maybe next time. You know what I'm saying? But something I have these moments in my life where something tells me, and it's God, you know what I'm saying? Something tells me, yo, what are you doing? And when I ask myself that question, 9 times out of 10 is not what I'm supposed to be doing. So, okay, cool. So what are you supposed to be doing? Go to the studio. All right, cool. You know what I'm saying? I got like a couple $1,000 left. I'm going to go ahead and spend $8. Not financially, fiscally responsible, but I'm going to do it.
You're young at the time, man.
Right.
That's what happened.
I'm not going home without no hit. What you mean? I might if I got to, but right now, I don't have to. So, make that happen. Get to the studio, right? I'm playing through beats. Next one. I'm like, damn. Next one. I didn't mean to put this instrumental in the pack. So I played through like 2 seconds of it. I was like, oh, shit, my fault. I ain't mean to put that in the pack. Like, what you talking about? Play that. I'm like, okay. I'm like, they like, okay, go in the booth immediately. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Go in the booth means?
The PC went in the booth. Berg, A1, they told him to load up the beat. Now Hitmaker. And this is when that collective first got put together. So now when you see Hitmaker and PC together, this is when they first met. You know what I'm saying? Wow. This is all going on when they first met. They didn't know each other before this. So Jay Grant put that play together. We had a crazy nights, duck horn nights. You know what I'm saying? So like they go in the booth, start recording, getting some hook ideas out. So everybody looking around the room like, yeah, okay.
So you just got the beat right now. You don't have the hook?
Just got the beat. You got the beat and the hook.
To it.
Got the beat and the hook, right?
Okay.
And matter of fact, in the same
hook
night,
was on it when you was playing it.
No, just the beat.
Okay, got the beat.
Just
How
the
did the
beat.
hook get in it?
PC went in the booth. That's why he said go in the booth.
Okay.
So he started getting some hook ideas out. You know, when we presented to Chris, it's like, okay, what do you like out of this? He take ideas, change what he changed here and there. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely a collaboration, though. So I'm like, all right, cool, this is a record. Side note, whenever this record decides to drop, we did a record called TBT, Throw It Back Like It's Thursday, Throwback Thursday, with Jeremiah that same night. They got the same vibe. I really need that record to drop. But
It hasn't came out yet?
It hasn't come out yet.
Okay.
I can play it for you. So it cuts the hook, and I'm like, all right, cool. So that night ends like any other night. We do more records, blah, blah, blah. We just move past it. I get a call from A1 the next day. Yo, where you at? Shit, I'm at the crib cooking up. Yo, pull up to the studio. So they ain't never, you know what I'm saying, told me like this to pull up to the studio. All right, cool. Pull up to the studio. He just was like, yo, you ready? I said, what's up? What's going on? He said, yo, we got the next single. You know, I've heard people say that. You hear everybody got the next Rihanna single. Right. Everybody got the next ChrisBrown single. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I ain't know no different. All right, cool. You know what I'm saying? I got faith. I'm like, all right, cool. I can't let it cloud my passion, my hustle, because usually that's what it does. Oh, you got this single. Okay, let me kick back a little bit. Nah. Okay, I hear you. Pull up to the studio. A1 has me pull up. I'm going to the C room like I usually do. He like, nah, come over here to the B room. I said, okay. So, going up the stairs, if you know Paramount, you walk up that staircase. And he opened the door. CB. Right there, room, you know what I'm saying? Party vibes in the room, CB. Immediately.
So CB is?
ChrisBrown.
Okay, I just want to make
Breezy,
sure everybody
you know what I'm saying?
So he's standing there.
Standing there in the room, going, you know what I'm saying, cooking up, going through records, talking to Pat. Oh, what's up, family? Introductions made. Yeah, you dope. I'm like, that's crazy. So I'm sitting here with ChrisBrown. It's crazy. So I you know what I'm saying? I'm still me. I got my laptop and my headphones. Back of the room, headphones on, laptop. You know what I mean? So as the night, you know, progresses, you know, Trey Songz walk in, T.I. walk in. It's like a bunch of different dope energies in the room. Everyone collaborating, like it's dope vibes. So Chris is like, yo, everybody, you know, listen up. I'm about to play through the album. I'm about to play some shit I've been working on. I'm about to play through the album. So he played some records. He played that record that he got with Cap G. I'm like, yeah, this. I heard all of these already because
what album was this?
I'm around. This is the Heartbreak album. Heartbreak on the Full Moon.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, dope. You know what I'm saying? I was like, this is cool. I get to be in that ChrisBrown listening session. This what's up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I looked at the bro. Yo, I'm thinking trying to do dance moves and shit. You know what I'm saying? So back in the room doing my thing, and he's like, yeah. So you know what I'm saying, I'm playing through more records. He played probably like two, three records, and then he presses play on the next one. And I'm thinking, I'm like, am I plugged up to the aux because my beat's playing? Like, my fault, y'all. Like, what am I doing? And I hear his voice on the beat. I'm like, oh, wait.
He had already recorded.
It was Hope You Do.
Oh, okay. Hope You Do. Right.
Never heard it before.
Right.
That. So I'm like, oh, he wasn't lying. Years ago when he said I got a record on Chris' album, this was the one. Because the same beats. I'm like, oh, that's dope. Oh, this is cool. So I'm thinking the next record is finna be another record. Another record. My beat. So I'm like, okay, I'm clearly not up to the aux. So he plays another record that I produced. I'm like,
which was?
They're unreleased.
Okay.
So the next one was Roses, which was on Heartbreak.
Right.
Then it was like two other ones that I produced. And I'm like, bro, this is surreal. Like, he playing through 5-6 records that, you know, I made either in my bedroom, at the crib, or, you know, 20 miles away
already
from
got
here.
the vocals on
Already
and everything. They done.
Crispy, tape stops and cuts and everything. Pat doing his thing, you know. Oh, shout out to Ben Hogarth, too. Ben Hogarth is a beast. Big Ben. Go crazy. Engineer. Super dope. We got to respect our engineers. So I'm like, this is crazy. So he stopped the music, give his spiel. It's like, yo, I'm about to play the next single. It's featuring Usher and Gucci. I said, okay, well, this is where my fun stops. So
right.
That was cool. This is a dope moment. And he hit play. It is. I'm like, oh,
you had no clue.
No clue. And he going crazy. And this is the first record. He dancing to it in the studio and everything. I'm like, yo, this is wild. I probably lost my mind when Gucci verse started.
Right.
Bro. I'm sitting there keeping it together, but in my head, I'm like, this is why we came to LA.
Mm.
When I tapped into the frequency earlier that day, what are you doing? Not what you're supposed to be doing. That's what I was supposed to be doing. And I think that frequency was what let me know I wasn't doing the right thing. Now you on the right path. This is the frequency you're supposed to be on. This is what you're supposed to be doing, and this is the confirmation. And that's a hell of a confirmation if I ever had one, you know. So that's how the party record came to be, bro.
Wow.
Like it was like another day. It was just another day.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it was almost like a whew. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm glad I put up to the studio. It could have been a whole different way. That record could have not existed had I been complacent or just been comfortable in not
Right.
moving.
So like I'm doing a live broadcast. I think this was at Solas. So you know, on the live broadcast, like the DJ got to play the music, and you got to kind of be hyped. And early in the club, is nobody really there. I mean, so because like we might start the live broadcast at 10. Black people not getting to the club at 10, right? So 10 to 11, it's about the same number of people in this room. I got to act like it's jam packed. So every week, like as a host, I'm waiting on a record that will get me going. Like he plays some records, you know, and you know how music go, like especially with the music that we play on. It's a lot of the records didn't have no theme. Like it was just, you know, a lot of mumble this, mumble that. So that was the record that I used to make the DJ play or wait for him to play, because that was signified that the party to me was about to start. Because it's such a feel good record from top to bottom, right?
100%.
Love Chris Brown, I love the record. So DJ Grant, I got to shout out to DJ Grant, Beat Boys, you know, it's my dog.
Sure.
Grant pulled me aside one day because I this is well after the broadcast. I'm always like having people play this record. He's like, Brian, you know this dude from Raleigh that made the beat? I'm like, nah, man, get out. He's like, yeah, he from Raleigh, man. He said, I ain't believing it. I said, for real? He was like, yeah, man. So he pulled up your page and showed me and all that stuff, man. It was like crazy. So I kept it in the back of my mind. I'm like, yo, soon as I reignite my podcast, this is like one of the first people I want to get on there. Because of the organic feel of finding something and then finding that I was really that close to it, right? Knowing that you born and raised in the Carolinas, right here in Raleigh, grew up on me. Absolutely. On the radio. So I just want to say congratulations, man. It's just a dope record. It's a timeless record. And it's kind of weird for me to sit here and listen to you, because to me, I'm thinking you're going to say, man, when I was in the studio, as soon as I heard I knew the record was going to do this. I knew it was going to do that. But for the record to have such humble beginnings, and for the record to go out there like that, man, how did you feel like the first time you heard it on the radio or you saw the video? Like, how did you feel?
You know what? So he did a promo run where he did a countdown every day. I think it was a 10-day countdown. 10 until a party, 9 until parties. You know what I'm saying?
I think I remember that.
And I didn't think it was my song. Like, nah, bro, this is a practical joke. This song is gonna come on, and it's not gonna be my record, and I'm gonna be pissed. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why I felt that way. It's just we have a way of destroying our own confidence as a culture because we feel as though we don't deserve something or something's too good for us. You know what I'm saying? So I felt that way. And when it dropped, the funny part about it is another song was on the intro. I'm like, damn, see, I told you, but I listened to another minute or so and the party came on. And it was surreal, you know. It felt like, you know, some hard work had paid off.
Shout out my boy Chef.
For sure.
It's Thanksgiving meal. That's what I'm gonna call it. All right, so
Mike Tyson.
all right, so let's talk about some of your other production credits. Who's some of the other artists that you've been working with? You named a couple, but
So my first artist, you know, DMV showed a crazy amount of love for a young entrepreneur just coming up, still in high school. So, you know, it'd be a tragedy if I ain't mention my guys. You know what I'm saying? Big Flop, Lizzo. Lizzo was actually the first artist I worked with up there. Tino Loud, Fame Reek, rest in peace.
now how old were
same
you
with
when
AG.
you was connected
14,
with
15.
them? Really?
I work with, man, I'm in high school taking weekend trips up to DC. You know, 100K team, AZ, Tay, you know what I'm saying? Bro, they shook so much love up there, bro. 3-0 Black, Baby Op, you know, Q the Fool, who now signed a major. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, Light Show, bro. It's those are really my core collective of guys. I never been to Chicago. That was a little bit further. We used to drive to DC.
Right.
So while I'm up there, I'm working with those guys, and they help me go from beat maker to producer. Because versus just focus on making beats and sending them out to people, I'm focusing on, okay, what does this artist need? Yo, Ism, I need something like this. I need something dark with a lot of bass. You know what I'm saying? Like good hat movement. Okay, I need the intro to be changed up like this. You know, they helped me to become a producer. So I gotta mention those guys first. And then as we travel further down south. You know, you got your Grand Hustle Gang team who really supported me. Wade, Defiant, that's what the label was named. Wade, Willie Myers, you know what I'm saying? Those guys really helped me out a lot, as well as, you know, because that was the first soundboard I had seen up down there in their studio.
Wow, first time.
Off Ponce, down in Atlanta. So you got London J, Jake Lambo, Woodrow's down there, a bunch of dope artists down in Atlanta. That's really between Atlanta and DMV. That's where my real start came from. Sunny Digital showed so much love, and that was crazy because I look at him like a Metro. You know what I'm saying? Mustard, Mike Will, and from the very beginning, it's just been all love. We met, matter of fact, we met during A3C in 2015, I think. Took a picture, got his email. Yo, I'm seeing you something like this. Yeah, send me shit, bro. I'm humble. You know what I'm saying? That's what the next generation needs from our role models. So that was my beginning, and as I expanded through there, you know, work up in Chicago, Big Glow, Matty Baby, Chief Keef.
Wow.
Like it just moved how it was supposed to, because I was focused on being a producer, maintaining relationships. That vibe versus just, okay, how many people can I get my beats out to? So as we started to do that, you know, that's when I started learning more about the music business and learning about A&Rs, managers. You know what I'm saying? What is a publisher? Okay, there's some opportunity out here. You know, so after I made my trips to LA, and I moved over to LA. You know, ain't no more driving to DC, ain't no more driving to Atlanta. But I stayed in contact with those guys. I called every person I named from 2014, 2015. I call all of them right now. You know what I'm saying? We still work. So as I moved to LA, you know, PJ, Ty Dolla $ign, Wiz Khalifa, French Montana, Jason Derulo, of course Chris Brown. I honestly say I don't have songs released with every artist, but I've probably worked with every major artist. Right. You know what I'm saying? Every major artist's voice is probably on a beat of mine somewhere on a hard drive. Right. Most likely. Jeremiah, Danny Lay. I produced Lil Bebe for Danny Lay as well.
And you work with one of my favorite artists, Joyner Lucas.
Joyner Lucas. Shout out to Molly Marr.
Yeah. And what joint you had on there?
What is that record called? Lotto.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite records on there too, man.
Thank you. We did a remix with
crazy.
G-Eazy and Yandel. But yeah, thank you. That's really an arcade loop.
Really?
Yeah, the violin.
Yeah.
The arcade loop. Put some hard drums over it. Nice 808.
Did you know, like, was that one that you knew was kind of a hit? You was waiting to. Did you make it for somebody, or was just you in the lab cooking?
In the lab cooking and distributing. You got to understand. I had to understand that. It's not about just making the beat. You know, you got to have your system of distribution, whatever that is. Right. You got to.
Wow.
Otherwise, it's gonna be hard drive hits. Thought about doing that, making a project called Hard Drive Hits, and just putting music out.
So would you say there's a lot of dope producers just walking around with a bunch of hard drive hits?
Yes.
Wow.
It's a lot of producers who are
that's amazing.
Waiting for the right artist to send it to. It's a lot of artists. It's a lot of producers who are too afraid to even send their music out to rappers, to artists, to singers. Bro, send it. It's producers and beat makers that are too prideful to work with local artists because they're not a Chris Brown. They're looking at, oh, Ism, he only work with, bro. No, if you look at my discography, it's like an iceberg, bro. You see the good stuff, but I have so much support because the experience has not been Because if you get that opportunity to go work with a Chris Brown or Drake or Kendrick or Jay-Z or, you know, your A-listers, you're not going to be prepared because you're not a producer. They don't want somebody to sit there and make no beat for them.
Really?
Yeah. They need someone with a vision. And it starts with the beat. But you got to have the vision because they got their own team already. So you got to provide that value outside of just making the beat. You know what I mean? How well do you work with people? How well are your communication skills?
So who's in your corner that's keeping you so grounded and understanding the big picture?
Big family. Real big family. And my dad is supportive, but he remind, you know, my mom, my dad, you got plaques, but you still gonna wash your dish.
Right.
When you come into my kitchen. You know what I mean? You go to grandma's house, you still gonna wash your hands before you reach into my fridge.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the times we get ahead of ourselves in our structure and our foundation, our lowest frequency with the trebles and the high frequencies. We kind of allow ourselves to be knocked off track with that. So family keeps me grounded. Absolutely, 100%.
Wow, you're so deep, man. So that brings me to one of my first top 5 questions. Of course, it's a top 5 podcast. So it's always how we live in a top 5 world of how we judge what we like and what we don't like. We ain't gonna piss nobody off because I'm sure it's more than 5 dope producers that you really like. But give me top 5 producers that you think in the game right now.
Okay. Just from the start, Lex Luger.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of how impactful that sound was. That changed everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then he put me on the FL, between him and Metro, FL Studio. What is he working on?
Right.
What is that? FL Studio. Mike Will. Because that's where I learned about just going out the box. Work outside the box. You don't have to sound like everything else.
Mike Will
would use sounds. It's like, bro, why did you use that sound?
Mm-hmm.
Your beat's so simple. Why did you layer that kick on that 808 on that 808 with no flex on? Why, you know what I'm saying? Why did that happen like that? You know, the Rick Ross days where it's like, yo, there's so much going on in this beat, but it all works together perfectly. He helped me think outside the box. Ism Beats. My manager.
That's 3.
Yeah, my manager at the time, Malik Baker, was up in New York, and he would work with Jalil Beats every now and again. And I was like, what is that? What is that saying? Jungle Beats, holla at me? No, that's his tag. You know, he's saying Jalil Beats, holla at me. That's his tag. That's how he gets people to know. So then after he explained that to me, I'm like, oh, I'm listening to Go Grizz tag. I'm like, oh, that's dope. Like, that's how we make our impact. That's how we become known. So Mike Will did the same thing. You know, Mike Will made it. A lot of people don't, you know what I'm saying? Eardrummers, he took it to a company. He made a company, a business. And went from Mike Will to Eardrummers. Okay, what's Eardrummers? Okay, I got people working alongside me to help me move to this common goal. So we got 3. So is that 3 or 4?
That's 3.
That's 3. Pick these last 2 wisely. I'm gonna try to name people that nobody knows. Not that nobody knows, but lesser known, but very talented. I'm gonna say that for the last one. Just as far as impact, you gotta talk about Mustard.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Mustard.
You gotta talk about Mustard because Mustard, you made hits using 4 sounds. He kind of taught us that. On the flip side of the Mike Will coin, while you can have all these elements running in the beat, you don't need it. You can use a synth bass pluck, a snap, a hey, and a kick, and get a hit. Produce what the artist wants. And my 5th, man. Okay, can I split those 2? Can I split my 5th?
Yes.
I don't know who the producer is, but I just saw the sample breakdown for Sing About Me by Kendrick Lamar. Whoever chopped that sample, goated.
This is crazy.
And that sample chop is mad. Okay. And 40. 40. Noah should be 40 under OVO. Because of that's a producer because the artist, the idolized artist, looks to him for the sound. he has his producers, who work alongside him. Boy, one and the talented guys who are really putting the drums with the bass and the sonics. Those guys are the musical geniuses, the composers. But 40 has the glue for it. He has a vision for it, from what I've seen, being on the outside looking in, and how respected he is by the OVO camp, and really a lot of producers. And he drops gems. He don't gatekeep. Nobody who I just mentioned gatekeeps. They share their knowledge. So
I can tell you've gained a lot from your ability to work with a lot of different producers, and you, like a sponge, you've absorbed a lot from the people you're around. It's made you a better producer.
Absolutely.
Beat maker.
And it came from being closed-minded first, and seeing how well that works out for you.
Right. So trial and error, you learn.
Trial and error, learn.
Right.
But I was being advised by my ground instructor, nah, why? You know what I'm saying? Listen, pay attention.
So, all right, I want to get a couple more in. Top 5. Let's go to rappers. Like,
Man.
And we can stay current. Like,
Yeah. Man, really?
in the game that you right now.
You gotta listen to what he's saying. I'm not just saying that because he's from Carolina.
I know where you're
Cole.
going first. Cole was one.
You gotta listen to him. On that record he just did with Benny the Butcher,
Yes, they went ham.
what is that verse?
All right.
That's crazy. Okay. As far as impact, Drake.
Mhm.
As far as impact, Drake's crazy. That makes no sense. That whole wave, and the fact that if you pay attention, it's centralized up in his hometown.
Right. He putting a lot of people around him.
He's not from the States. How you do that? So we should take notes as American artists as well. As far as the art goes, and not paying attention to what's gonna get me the chart number one, what's gonna be the biggest hook, Kendrick. To Pimp a Butterfly is like probably my favorite album ever. Just no skips, the whole thing. From production, shout out to TDE for that project. The mixing, the sonics, how the samples are chopped, everything about it, the wordplay, the cadences, how he's interesting because before I started producing and songwriting, I wouldn't listen to records for what the artist was saying. I listened for how it felt, how the record felt. Because as a drummer, I used to play drums on stages, and I don't hear what people are saying. I'm listening to feel the music. Where are we? What's the tempo? Am I on tempo? That's all I'm looking for. So as I'm listening to music, I'm doing the same thing. And if you don't listen to a word Kendrick says, how he chops his flows, the cadences are just out here. What samples they choose to chop, or how they choose to chop them, or how they fit the drums in, or how they mix the kick and the 808, or what claps and snares they decide to use. I mean, if you dissect it, Kendrick, his music is just art all across the board.
That's 3.
And how there's been no gimmicks. It's just great music.
Yeah.
So that's 3.
He's as advertised too. While you think about the next 2, I remember having when I talked to you about repurposing some of my old interviews, and I got like a dope behind the scenes conversation with Common. Me, Common, and Ninth Wonder was kind of locked in a room downstairs, like a waiting room, and we captured a real conversation. I remember he was the first person that told me about Kendrick. Like, this was way before Kendrick came out. And to see Kendrick do everything that he said was just amazing. But anyways, give me 2 more.
2 more. Current, bro, is pretty new on the scene as far as the reach, but that guy Brent Faiyaz got some fire.
Yeah, we spending a lot of his stuff.
In the beginning stage, I hear his name, but I wouldn't listen. I wouldn't give him a chance because to me it was like it's too new. I don't understand. I think one song, they did it on purpose, but one song had a key change in it, and it was dissonant. And I don't do dissonance. If I hear a record and the 808 is out of key, I'm turning off the record. But in this record, it was done tastefully when I gave it a chance. But his sonics are different. His vocal range is different if you listen to it. It's very unique. It's kind of like, you know how the Weeknd sits in his pocket?
Mm.
Brent sits in another pocket, and that's his pocket. Like, nobody else is really singing right there. So that's 4. And then the production style is crazy as well. Production style is insane. The Rolling Stone record has been on repeat from the last album he just dropped for a minute. And my 5th rapper, man, I'm gonna give that to Nicki.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna give that to Nicki because it was just a very, very, very new. You know, I wasn't in the eras before, but as far as in our era, that was she had that locked down for a very long time. She still do. The impact was crazy. I know people with literally Barbie tattooed on them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, she had a massive impact on the same level as like a Drake, just for our women.
Couple more places I want to take you before I let you get out here, man. So many things to talk about. Let's get outside of music for a second. And other than music, give me another hobby or something that you like.
Okay.
Sports-wise or something else outside of music.
So, I like riding dirt bikes.
Mm-hmm.
Dirt bikes. I grew up on dirt bikes. I had a little YZ50. Growing up, I had a KTM 50, Yamaha 85. We got a KX 85 right now. We're about to get some new ones. I'm too big to be riding at 85. Dirt bike's been doing it since I was about 3 or 4, 5.
Mm-hmm.
Dad used to have me on the back. You know what I'm saying? Boxing,
Boxing.
definitely.
So that's your sport of choice.
That's
boxing.
my sport of choice. I've been boxing since I was 19. Shout out to Gary.
Oh yeah, so you work. Yeah, I do a few boxing workouts too. I'm definitely a fan of the sweet science. So let me test your boxing knowledge real quick. Like top 5 boxes, your favorite 5 boxes that you can think of.
We're going from highlight reels now.
Right, because some of them you didn't quite witness.
So number 1, and like wouldn't even be on the list for real. This is just the guy that's on space, Mike Tyson, because he's a dog.
Okay.
Like,
Tyson was a monster.
A different, just
Right.
different.
I'm gonna tell you
fighter.
something was dope about Tyson. Have you ever seen Hot Boxing?
I haven't.
Start watching it. All right. It's Tyson. It's funny again, and when you get older, you see people's maturation, but you really got to go through certain things to get somewhere. Like I would have loved to see Richard Pryor in his right mind in his 70s because of the stuff he went through and the stories he can tell. Tyson is a philosopher, bro. Like we might not classify him a philosopher because he don't look like what we've been taught when we were small. Start to watch him and pay attention, man. The stuff he went through has shaped him to a person that is like, he's a national treasure, bro. Like, you got to pay attention to Tyson. Anybody not watching Hot Boxing, tripping. Like, take time and start watching some of the short blurbs that you'll see and then get into Tyson. He is a straight, as good as he was in that ring, he's a philosopher about life because he went through so much. And he's living to tell about it. But anyways, I'm sorry. Tyson.
That experience is teaching. Crazy. Tyson. Canelo. Yeah. Because, you know what I'm saying, outside of Floyd, you don't see nobody, the slips, it's so clean. Sometimes it seems like he in the ring, you just say, you know what, I'm going to only focus on defense for a second. We do that in sparring, like, okay, I'm just going to focus on defense. Seems like he does that. He has that slip game, anchor game pretty down pat, and his power is there as well to match it. Floyd, of course. Yeah. Now, what irritates me to the average eye, they don't understand the intricacies of his game. Because, he's running. No, the goal is not to get hit. He's not getting hit. Yeah. That's what's happening.
I was a big Floyd fan.
You know how hard it is to dodge a punch from a Canelo or Triple G or any of the fighters he's fought? Not easy. Honestly, defense is harder than punching.
And if you go back and watch that Floyd-Canelo fight, to know how beast Canelo is now, but to watch Floyd do what he did against that level of a fighter, anybody fronting on him about dodging and all competitive, they tripping. Like Floyd Mayweather is.
Well, the thing about Floyd is he's such a golden treasure that his persona, when it comes to, I'll speak lightly, when it comes to the majority, is not respected from us. We can't have that hubris about us. You're too good, and your platform is too large for you to be teaching these young black men that they don't have to listen to what I say, or they can say what they want to say. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't be able to talk to me like you don't need me. boy. You know what I'm saying? That's how they want to do him. But I respect that about him because he doesn't care. You know what I'm saying? I'm a billionaire. I'm gonna say what I want to say. So I respect that. And even when he wasn't, I'm great. So I'm gonna say
And he bet on himself.
Yeah, I'm bet on myself every
That's
time.
a lesson.
Yeah, that's not arrogance.
All right, give me
That's
two more.
understanding who you are. So we got Tyson,
Canelo.
Floyd,
Mhm.
Ali, Muhammad Ali for the same reason.
Yeah.
You know, but I think he would go on the list by himself. You know what I'm saying? For the same reason, just the political impact he had. You know, he wasn't on the same frequency. He wasn't. I'm great. I'm going to use my platform for the right thing. And it wasn't respected by the majority, but respected by us. And you know what? Who's fun to watch? I'm gonna split it between two. Tank, Monster. I'm saying I think he's the closest thing we got to Tyson. Closest thing. And I respect how he had to come and meet that point as well. It's like I'm great. I'm gonna say and carry myself how I want to. What's his name? Lomachenko. The technicalities of his boxing game is crazy. You know, like I said, them slips are difficult. How he can read through punches is, you know, they look like they moving in slow motion. He like Neo on the Matrix, just dodging. You know what I mean? So is that 5?
Yes. Well,
that's 6.
Yeah,
5.5.
I've been giving you your.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you're so deep with how you do it, and like everything else, like your answers are like real. Like you're not surface. Like I have to give you room to explain. All right, 2 more quick things before I let you get out here is so many ways to go with you, man. I'm just overly impressed with your knowledge about what you do. I always like to talk to inspiring people. When I get a chance to interview somebody, I always want them to inspire the next generation with some type of conversation. So you were first introduced to music how? Was it church? Was it school? Was it just listening to your mom and dad's records? Like, what was your first real introduction to music?
On a major level, it was church.
Right.
Church. But one of my earliest memories, is we were at an art exhibit, and I was crawling on some hardwood floors, and I'm looking up at a jazz band. You know what I'm saying? It's the guitarist, the saxophonist, and the dude playing the bongos, the congos. There's bongos and congos. Now I remember just being, it was a cherry red set of congos. And I remember that. And that right there, I remember that for some reason. And I remember after that, it's like music was everything. So when we go to church, I'm sitting there in front. We were going to Mount Peace with Miss Wright. Sit on the front row, right there by the drum set. You know, the drum set was tucked over to the right side. You facing the pulpit. Drum set tucked over to the right side. I'm right there, every Sunday, right there. And I remember.
And did you know how to read music at the time?
No, never learned how to read music. I do everything by ear.
Wow.
Play everything by ear. Taught myself. And music was one of those things I understood at that age. I guess it was because I was little, but you remember being in church, in real church. You know what I'm saying? Church is still church today, but you go to church, and when it could have been different before I was here, but you know what I'm saying, early 2000s, church was different. You know what I'm saying? The music was different. We sitting there for 3 hours playing, doing praise and worship, and I don't know, you get to like they start shouting and playing the war cry, and you feel the bass and the kick going right there. That's what hooked me into the music, because I could hear it and it sounded good, but yo, I can feel this music. I can feel the stomps. I can feel the pews shaking. I'm looking around. I can see the people being affected by it, and that's ever since then. After I saw how music affected people, I'm like, oh, this is.
He knew it.
I love that. Yeah.
He knew what you was about.
Whatever
to
this is, I love this. I need more of this.
Let's inspire the next generation with the last question, man. Give some advice to that future you. That person that's walking around here, like you said, they got them hard drive hits, that love this craft, that's getting better. What would you tell them if you was talking to them right now?
Perfect your craft. If there's something that you're doing that has nothing to do with the music, and that's what you want to do, stop doing it and redirect that time elsewhere. If you're in school, do your schoolwork, get everything good, because that teaches you the principles of a work ethic. And it teaches you how not to neglect responsibilities. So as you're doing that, perfect your craft. When I was in high school, you can ask anybody. You probably saw me at 2 parties. You either saw me at the house making beats, or you saw me on Oakwood Avenue cutting every yard so I could afford a laptop, or you saw me on Rock Quarry and MLK cutting grass and trimming hedges and taking out trash. If you didn't see me there, I was at home. So prioritize the music, and if you need an income source, go cut some. Pick up a pair of clippers. You know what I'm saying? Learn how to cut some grass. Go take out the trash. Sweep a parking lot. It's a lot of things to do. Go clean up a construction site. Literally walk on the site. Hey, y'all need cleanup. Look for opportunities. Don't get yourself in trouble. Stay far away from trouble. I'm gonna say that one too. It don't go together. Stay far away from what's gonna take your time away. So use your time wisely, and stay away from what's gonna take your time away from you, because that can happen.
Man, Ism Beats, man. Your story is inspirational, man. Even for an OG like me.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you.
Flex up. All about a chick. All about a chick. Roll it, bust down. Should've bought a bitch. All about a chick. All about a chick. Keep my hater blockers on. Rock the time spit. Can't see you. Chick. Please don't call my phone. It ain't about a chick. Can't hear you. Chick. Low source nigga. I wake up.